Ladies, Matajis. Good. Sutta Vacha. Sutta Goswami said, Nishamya, after hearing Kaushara Vina by the sage Maitreya, Upavarnitam described Dhruvasya of Maharaja Dhruva, Vaikuntapada to the abode of Vishnu, Adirohanam ascent, Prarudha increased, Bhavaha devotional emotion, Bhagavati unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adhokshaje who is beyond the reach of direct perception, Prashtum to inquire, Punaha again, Tam unto Maitreya, Viduraha Vidura, Prachakrame attempted. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. Sutta Goswami, continuing to speak to all the rishis headed by Shaunaka, said, after hearing Maitreya Rishi describe Dhruva Maharaja's ascent to Lord Vishnu's abode, Vidura became very much enlightened in devotional emotion, and he inquired from Maitreya as follows. Purport. As evidenced in the topics between Vidura and Maitreya, the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the devotees are so fascinating that neither the devotee who is describing them nor the devotee who is hearing is at all fatigued by the inquiries and answers. Transcendental subject matter is so nice that no one becomes tired of hearing or speaking. Others who are not devotees may think, how can people devote so much time simply to talks of God? But devotees are never satisfied or satiated in hearing and speaking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead or about His devotees. The more they hear and talk, the more they become enthusiastic to hear. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is simply the repetition of 3 words, Hare Krishna and Rama. But still devotees can go on chanting this Hare Krishna mantra 24 hours a day without feeling fatigued. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nichaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Radha Parthasarathi ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Gonitai ki. Hare Krishna. I am very happy to be here at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, Shri Radha Parthasarathi, and all wonderful devotees. Today we are reading from the first verse of this chapter, the wonderful description of Dhruva Maharaj. And here Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport how transcendental subject matter is so nice that no one becomes tired of hearing or speaking. It is very absorbing. And Prabhupada goes also to say that the repetition of the three words Hare, Krishna and Rama can be done repeatedly without becoming fatigued. So again and again we can hear the pastimes of the Lord and His devotees, and we don't get bored, we don't get tired. Is that true? Is that true? Yes. Sometimes we may sleep in the Bhagavatam class, but that's okay. That's because we are tired, not because we are bored. Sometimes we sleep while chanting also. We do many things while chanting. I know of one Prabhupada's disciple who was known to be a person who had unique ability. And one of the sannyasis, I don't want to name the persons, said me, I have seen people sleeping while chanting. I have seen people sleeping in Bhagavatam class. I have seen people sleeping while giving Bhagavatam class. But I have never seen a person sleeping while chanting and dancing. Only this person can do it. So there's a devotee who can dance and chant and sleep. So, in the material world, repeatedly doing something is boring. Everybody wants variety. Sometimes in the sadhana stage, a person is also feeling a little bit. And when he goes to the outside world, he may be questioned by people. Arey yaar, how many times you are chanting the same mantra, bar bar, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, bolte jate ho. Why don't you change the mantra? At least change the mantra. Please say something else. In my younger days, in college, I heard a person describing a Chinese torture. Very simple and economical. Chinese people are very smart at everything. Very economical. No big torture chamber and somebody laboring, nothing. They have a big post. They make a person sit down and tie him to the post. Head and all cannot move. They tie the head to the post, body to the post, everything. Give him food to eat and all he has to eat like that. Hands are tied. Only when required is open. And on the top of the post, they have a small mud pot filled with water. And there is a pipe, water is coming in that, slowly, by drop. And from under the pot, there is a leak, drop. It slowly becomes big, the drop, and then falls on the fellow's head. Dip. After some time again, dip. After again few minutes, dip. And he cannot move his head. And they simply leave him like that for some 4 days. In the same place, no money, nothing required. Just one small pot tied to the post. At the end of 4 days, this fellow will be screaming every drop that falls. Ah! Dum! Ah! Dum! He dies of torture. Because each drop falls on the sensitive portion of the head. And it becomes very soft. It keeps falling from that height. Tama! Tama! If you keep hitting the same place, you've seen sometimes in the rainwater, pipe is there, even in the stone, there will be a hole. Keep on putting water. So this fellow is just afraid of the next drop falling. That. Mentally, he is completely finished. Actually, it's only a drop of water. But he is mentally so conditioned to repeatedly falling in the same place. It's torture. Isn't it? And in the material world, everybody repeatedly does the same thing. Morning they get up, same alarm clock they bang. And then they get up in the morning, then the same door they open, same brush they take and brush, spit into this thing, throw the brush, and then go and see the same towel, they throw the towel, and then they go and take bath in the same bathroom, same shower, same bucket. Then go to the same mirror and look at the face and look at the same muck. Put the same pant shirt which you wore last week. Then open the fridge and eat the same food which is stored for 1 week. Same stuff. And then they go and see the same boss's face. Oh, horrible. Did you do that? Did you do that? No, no. And then they do same things. And they ask you, why are you chanting the same mantra? What are you doing? What are you doing? The same thing. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Again you are born, again you die, again you do eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Again you are born, again you die, eating, mating, sleeping, defending. And sometimes we cannot answer their question, why are you chanting the same mantra? See? So in the Bhagavatam it's mentioned here, one who repeatedly hears Dhruva Maharaj's glories, one who repeatedly listens to the pastimes of the Lord and his devotees, he will get purified. He will purify his heart, and from his heart pure love for Krishna will rise. And although he may be doing those activities again and again, every time he does it, he has a different flavor. He has a different realization. Because he is intensely praying to Krishna. So these are not ordinary repetitive words. They are not mundane vibration repeated again and again like Chinese torture. That is why in the material world people have to go for holiday. Every weekend they go for holiday. They have to go for holiday with the same people, of course. Sometimes it's difficult. Same family members you have to take for holiday. In the Gulf, the devotees many times they tell us, I don't want to come back home. Why? I want to stay in the Gulf only. But your house is in Kerala, why don't you come back? All the relatives will come and harass me. So I will stay in the Gulf only. But you're already 70 years old. Now I will stay here only, chant Hare Krishna and die. I don't want to see my relatives. People are tired of same people because of material Maya Rasa. Prabhupada explains. But if the conditioned soul chants Hare Krishna, hears Srimad Bhagavatam, hears about Krishna and his wonderful pastimes repeatedly, it has a curing effect. It has a curing effect. It is not boring. Because his consciousness is getting purified. Consciousness is getting purified. Nava nava rasa udhyatum rantum asit. Yamunacharya explained, whenever I think of Krishna, wherever I sit down, nava nava rasa, newer and newer rasa is coming. I chant the holy name, I feel very different. Although I chanted so many thousands of times, every time I chant, nava nava rasa udhyatum rantum asit. And when I think of sense gratification, I feel my face contorting and I feel like spitting. Sushtu nishtivanam cha. I don't like it. But I can chant again and again, think of Krishna again and again. Because nava nava rasa. From the spiritual platform, every time you think of Krishna, you can get a newer and newer taste. Like I saw yesterday, it is written on the board here. Sanatana Goswami praying to the Lord. When these two syllables, Krishna, come out of the tongue, enter the ears, so wonderful, so tasty they are, that my Lord, I feel like having hundreds and thousands of ears, hundreds and thousands of tongues, and all of them chanting Krishna, 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 and I can hear and I can taste. Same syllable, Krishna. He wants to chant again and again and hear it. It's tasty. Once one gets the taste of the holy name. When I was young, my father used to chant in Andhra, all our devotees of Lord Ramachandra, Sitaram Lakshman Hanumaniki. There, in very early days, very beautiful songs sung. When I was very young, my father dressed me for school, or at the time he would sing a song. O Rama Ninama Yanta Ruchira Yanta Ruchira Rama Yanta Ruchira O Rama Ninama Yanta Ruchira. O Rama, your name is so tasty. Oh, so tasty, Rama. It is very tasty. The song. The song is simply about the name of Rama, which is very tasty. I remember my father singing this so much. And after I joined the Hare Krishna movement, I was thinking my father was singing some very high philosophy. Holy name, Tattva. I did not know that at that time. But he was singing very nicely. The taste of the holy name. The devotee, he contacts Krishna in the holy name, on the tongue. The devotee, he remembers Krishna with emotion. It is mentioned here that Vidura, Maharaj ascended to the Vidura, became very much enlightened in devotional emotion that can really grip you. That is original emotion of the soul, not sentimentality, not material emotion born out of sneha, affection for some relatives or somebody of the opposite sex. That is what Kunti Devi said, Sneha Pasham imam chindi dridam pandushu vrishnushu ratim udvahatat gange vaugham udanvati. My dear Krishna, cut my affection for my sons Pandavas, which I have, and let my love for you flow like the Ganges flows to the sea. That is difference between material emotion we have, which holds us in the material world, and spiritual emotion that is uncontrollable, billions of times greatly forceful than material emotion, born out of lust, greed, anger, attachment, material relationship. It is very powerful. Emotional ecstasy, emotion on the spiritual platform. He is overcome with that. When we chant Krishna's name, when we read Bhagavatam, we can sometimes feel that connection briefly with Krishna. And we can become excited spiritually. That is a taste we can get. Imagine consistently, constantly being in that spiritual emotion, which Vidura is feeling here. After hearing Dhruva Maharaj's pastime and how Krishna delivered Dhruva Maharaj, took him back to the spiritual world, and how Dhruva Maharaj, such a small boy, 5 years old, 6 months he did complete austerity, very determined, simply fixed on Narada Muni's instruction, and how he achieved Krishna by strictly following, and how Krishna reciprocated with him through his pure devotee, and how Dhruva Maharaj was able to take his mother Suniti also back to the spiritual world, because she was also his guru. All this after he hears Vidura from Maitreya, he hears, he becomes overcome with spiritual emotion. Ah, wonderful. What a story. What a happening. How the Lord is reciprocating. This way we awaken our Krishna consciousness. We awaken our love for Krishna, which is inside us. Everybody is having that spiritual emotion, but that is not fanned and brought out. When we repeatedly chant the holy name, when we repeatedly come for Mangalarati, pray before the Lord, when we repeatedly render devotional service as per Guru and Vaishnava's instructions, when we repeatedly control our mind and render service, Krishna, he gives the great reward of realization of Krishna consciousness. And after that, when a person persistently renders service, then he gives him the experience of this spiritual emotion. Then he becomes overcome with that emotion. See, Mukunda, one of the servants of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya glorifies Mukunda. He says that Mukunda was a chief physician of the king. And the king, one day, sitting and talking with Mukunda. Mukunda was sitting on a big asan. Raja sitting high. And somebody came to fan the king with peacock feather. Mukunda was talking to the king and he saw the peacock feather. When he saw the peacock feather, he suddenly remembered Krishna. When he remembered Krishna, he could not control his emotions. His hair started standing on end and he started crying. And he became overcome so much with emotions from the asana, he boom, fell down, rolled down, fell down. And the king got down from his asana, quickly ran down. Mukunda, are you okay? Is something happened to you? What happened? Mukunda got up and sat down and said, nothing, nothing. The Maharaja knew about Mukunda. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shishi Radha Partha Sarathi ki, Shishi Gaur Nitai ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. He knew about Mukunda. So although Mukunda said, I am okay, I am okay, he knew this person is a very high level spiritual person. And he has fallen down because of a spiritual ecstasy. Even the Raja knew, was such a thorough materialist. He knew this person is very exalted spiritually. He saw the peacock feather, he remembered about Krishna. Same way Pundarika Vidyanidhi. Gadadhar Pandit was taken to see, who is it? who took, Gadadhar. He saw Pundarika Vidyanidhi in a very opulent position, coming on a pallaki, dressed very wonderfully, long hair, and looking like a big sense gratifier, Vishayi. And the other, he is the great Pundarik. I mean, what is this person? How can he be devotee? But then, who was with him? Who brought him? Forget. Mukunda. I'm sorry. Mukunda only took him. And Mukunda knew that Gadadhar is thinking like this in his mind. So he wanted to show who is the real Pundarika Vidyanidhi. So he chanted beautiful shlokas from the Bhagavat, from Gopika Geetam. And when he chanted those shlokas, Pundarika Vidyanidhi immediately started remembering Krishna intensely. And his spiritual emotion, his feelings for Krishna, they came out, and he became so excited. Separation from Krishna. He started screaming, Krishna, Krishna. Fell down, tore open his pillow, tore open his bed, started tearing everything in separation from Krishna. And then Gadadhar could see the spiritual position, the great devotional position of Pundarika Vidyanidhi, and he became very convinced. In this way, every living being has got the capacity to express his emotion towards Krishna. And sadhana means fanning that. This is given a nectar of devotion. By our mind, body, senses, words, everything. When we render devotional service in a strict manner, in a routine way, attending Mangalarati, chanting Hare Krishna, sitting and trying to hear the Bhagavatam class, rendering devotional service, book distribution, and routine activities when we do, it may be a little difficult. The mind will trouble you, and the intelligence will work with the mind and give a lot of reasoning. Why you should chant the same mantra? Let us chant Purusha Shukta for some time. And let us chant this mantra. Let us by heart this. Let us by heart that. Let us go to hear this Ramakatha here by this person. For a change, I want to do something else. For a change, I want to read somebody else's book, not Prabhupada's book. Every time he's telling surrender to Krishna, and same thing he's telling again and again. And I want to read some other book, some exotic book. I want to chant some other mantra. I want to go to some other place to take darshan. All this is material conception. One of the Goswamis has mentioned even going to pilgrimage is not necessary. If one is fixed in his devotional service, pilgrimage is also a waste of time. Because if one can awaken his Krishna consciousness, then he doesn't need to go anywhere. Nava nava rasa udyatum rantum asit, as Yamunacharya is mentioning. So, when we hear these pastimes of Krishna, when we hear about these wonderful leelas of his devotees, we must spend time deeply going inside that, analyzing, discussing, like they are doing. Maitreya and Vidura are discussing, asking questions, and getting deeper into that understanding. Then when we get deep, we can appreciate how Krishna is so merciful. We can appreciate Krishna's qualities, and we can know the greatness of devotees. And when we start appreciating from deep inside very genuinely, our spiritual emotions are awakened. That is why this is the business of Krishna consciousness. Why are we chanting Hare Krishna? Why are we rendering devotional service? We must keep our aim fixed. Every morning we would come for Mangalarati to remind us, I am doing this for this purpose, to achieve prema, to achieve love of Krishna. And when we do it in a fixed manner, it won't be a mindless repetition. In the material world, they call it mindless repetition. There is a great poet, I think Emerson, who said, repeatedly doing the same thing. What is that? Is the hobgoblin of small minds. He said, small-minded people only will again and again experience the same thing. Repetitively do the same thing. Big-minded people, they have variety in their life. He is completely wrong. Why? Because the biggest minded people commit suicide because they are sick and tired of doing the same thing. In real life it is not like that. But in the Krishna consciousness movement, we can see people chanting Hare Krishna, rendering devotional service and passing away like Dhruva Maharaj, going back to Vaikuntha, very successfully going because of repeatedly rendering devotional service as per norms, as per the sadhana, under the instructions of Guru. So Prabhupada has set up the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He repeatedly says this in the purport. It is meant for giving association. It is meant for purifying the self. It is meant for making your spiritual emotion rise and sending you back to Vaikuntha. Very humbly Prabhupada is saying. The conclusion is that a disciple or an offspring who is very strong devotee can carry with him to Vaikuntha Loka either his father, mother or Siksha or Diksha Guru. If you render your sadhana very perfectly like Dhruva Maharaj under the instruction of Guru, if you do it paka, even you can take back your Diksha Guru and Siksha Guru like Dhruva Maharaj. And you see how humbly Prabhupada is saying. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, if I could perfectly deliver even one soul back home, back to Godhead, I would think my mission, propagating Krishna consciousness, to be successful. The Krishna consciousness movement is spreading now all over the world. And sometimes I think that even though I am crippled in many ways, if one of my disciples becomes as strong as Dhruva Maharaj, then he will be able to carry me with him to Vaikuntha Loka. Prabhupada is mentioning that very humbly. If I have one disciple like Dhruva Maharaj, he can take me to Vaikuntha Loka. We know that Prabhupada has made the society, so many people are going back to Godhead because of him. It is a proven fact. But Prabhupada is making a very humble statement. After describing about Dhruva Maharaj, he is telling, I am depending on one of my disciples to take me back to Vaikuntha Loka. But he has made the facility for so many people to go back to Godhead. And the Krishna consciousness movement is a very lofty ideal. It is not sending people to America, to Europe, to China, visa, clearance, VFS, clear this and all that. Chota chota organization nahi. Directly from here to Vaikuntha Loka. This movement is still sending people. This is meant for that. Nobody knows properly what is happening in the world. Here is a movement. Candidate enter inside. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. After some years, zoom, back to Vaikuntha. He is passing away, chanting Krishna's name. Everybody around him doing kirtan, bhajan. And he is chanting Hare Krishna and leaving his body. He will go back to Krishna or not? Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. He will go to Krishna or not? You have a doubt, I think. This is happening. in this movement. Every time you can hear now, so and so Mataji passed away in Vrindavan surrounded by devotees chanting Hare Krishna. So and so Prabhu passed away chanting Hare Krishna. They are all being sent back to Godhead. Prabhupada sent so many Dhruva Maharajas back to Godhead. So many. And this society Prabhupada has established, it is a college, it's a university. You come here, get educated, you go back to Godhead. Not to America to study further and rot. You are not giving visa to go to all these places. We give Vaikuntha visa, directly back. And it is proof that people are going back to Godhead every time they pass away chanting Hare Krishna. Just like Dhruva Maharaj. Just like Dhruva Maharaj. And this university college is free. No admission fees. Simply you are sincerely interested, you are admitted. No admission test also. No qualifying test also. No fees also. We give you prasadam, give you everything. Krishna is providing. And then Krishna is saying, Kaunteya prajnahi name bhakta pranashyati. If you fail also, you will pass. Arey, kaisa? Which university is like that? My devotee will never fail. One who has come into my college, ISKCON, he will zarur 100% pass. And then if he is a foolish fellow, dadami buddhi yogam tam yena maam upayanti. I give intelligence also, donation, dadami. I know you are an idiot, chant Hare Krishna, come inside, I will make you very intelligent, send you back to Vaikuntha. Just imagine what the ISKCON movement is. People don't think about it. But in the outside world, many people are watching. These people are doing something very good. I am not able to understand, but yahan kuch chal raha hai, which is very good. Very sharp materialists can understand. Because they are happy. And some days back I saw this fellow, useless hippie outside. After 10 years I am seeing a very smart fellow. He collecting money from me, selling books. बहुत अच्छा marketing करता है. He is thinking in terms of his business. You can see devotees become intelligent. Materially intelligent, more than that they become spiritually intelligent. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. What more does a living being want in this world? You get paisa, you get security, you get intelligence. In the other universities and all that, they don't give you intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam, come get admitted. No. Whatever your karma intelligence is, that we want. Because our university should get good name. Small IQ, we don't take you. Get out. Qualifying exam. Big IQ, very intelligent fellow only should come into Indian university. Why? We want good name. Because our business is based on your intelligence. We don't give you any intelligence in the university. We spoil your intelligence. We spoil it. So our business is based on the intelligence of the people. That's why even small children have to do test before going to kindergarten. Nahi, he has got learning disorder. He got attention disorder. ADH. Tum leke jao. Take him to a psychiatrist. We don't want him. Why? Array, it's a business of educational institution to teach people, make them intelligent. So what education institution are you running? That is why Prabhupada's education institution is topmost. Everybody come. Output, everybody is intelligent. They go back to Godhead. Amazing. You think about it. So many Dhruva Maharajas are going back to Godhead. And Prabhupada is humbly stating, after doing that amazing Vaishnava Seva, he is telling, I am waiting for one disciple to take me back to Godhead. This is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So we should remain very humble. As we learn from Prabhupada's books, as we learn about Krishna, we should remain extremely humble by following the example of Prabhupada. And give Krishna consciousness to others. It is not our property. Just because you can quote 2 shlokas and speak a few words doesn't mean anything special. simply we make other people also enjoy the shelter of Krishna inside the society, and by remaining humble and preaching Krishna consciousness and the glories of Krishna, we can also go back to Godhead. Om Tat Sat. Srila Prabhupada Ki. I can take one question or comment. I have to catch. Yes, you raised your hand first. Yes. I will repeat the question. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Revered Maharaj Sri, we are highly thankful to you.
You want this?
Hare Krishna. Okay. Revered Maharaj Ji, we are highly thankful to you. Just you mentioned during your course, we have learnt in the dictionary also the meaning of devotee word. A person who is the worshipper of God, or a person who is enthusiastic to know and learn about some new one and some new thing. Just you mentioned that visiting toward pilgrimage is also the wastage of time. Just I heard my own ear. What is true or wrong, Lordship is witness. Just you mentioned visiting towards religious or spiritual pilgrimage is wastage of time. Just we people visit to Sridham, Mayapur, Vrindavan and other sites related to our devotional activities and spiritual leaders. What is your view regarding this? Please express it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada also has mentioned that in the Bhagavatam purport, that it is not necessary. But still he called everybody to come from all over the world to Mayapur, to Vrindavan and everything. That means for us it is necessary to become spiritually enthused. Although I think Jiva Goswami has mentioned that, and Prabhupada quotes that in one of the purports, I don't know. I just incidentally mentioned that. But in a spiritual society, you know, like Varnashrama, we have people of all sorts, Grahasthas, Vanaprasthas, Brahmacharis, Sannyasis. So we go on a pilgrimage and we hear about Krishna. In this way we spiritualize it. The pilgrimage that is spoken about there is a pilgrimage taken by Grahasthas, by other people managing their household affairs and worrying about many different things also. It may not carry the same purpose fully. We are an organized society focused on something. When we take a pilgrimage, it is different. Right? So Prabhupada, I don't think he titled that pilgrimage. He didn't call it a pilgrimage. It's a duty to come to Mayapur, dance and chant in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So we do that because Prabhupada told us to do it, and he did it, showed us. So many things are mentioned in the Shastra, but many things Prabhupada did, therefore we do. Because he has designed the whole process as an Acharya. So because he says it, although he has mentioned in his book also. So what devotee should not do is singly alone go out for pilgrimage, because I should go for pilgrimage. Sometimes devotees do that. Going alone, 1-2 people going, blah blah blah, talking many other things, becoming overcome by so many other factors. You may not have the experience, right? So I normally feel that devotees should not go alone, should go in big groups, chant, and, nicely do Sankirtan, glorify the Lord here, be together. That type is good. But individual pilgrimages may be something that we should not do always, unless you are very advanced devotee.
We are highly pleased with your statement. Thank you very much, Reverend Maharaj. Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Bol.
In Bhagavatam it is also mentioned that Datirtha Buddhi Salilena Karachit Janayesu Abhijnesu
Saeva Gokara.
But in the same place, in Bhagavatam first canto, Susrusru Sadadhanasya Vasudeva Kathariji Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nisevana. So one should be go to pilgrimage. But our intention is not to go to pilgrimages to take a beach or to do achaman. But we should be here and listen.
Exactly. People go for pilgrimage for, like he pointed out, for material reasons. That is what is called pilgrimage. But we, and lower than that is picnic. But no idea where you are going. Go to the Hare Krishna movement, sit in the garden, take your food and see the Lord and just go away. You don't know anything about the Lord, who it is, what it, nothing. That's picnic. So another people go for pilgrimage and do a lot of rituals. They go for their grandfather, they do something. For the Tirupati, they go shave their head because I promised to the Lord I will give my hair. Like this type of all these promises, Narcha they call it. That is all pilgrimage. But what we are doing is not really in that sense. Right, thank you.
And also, Yudhishthira Maharaj addressed to Vidura, Tirthi
Kurvanti Tirthani.
Swantastena Gadadhrita.
Devotees are themselves Tirtha.
But my question is that here the Punah, the Vidura asked the Punah again about the Krishna's pastimes. Please describe. But first he feels that Praruda Bhava, he is completely satisfied. So the Krishna Katha gives satisfaction first. But at the same times, devotee are inclined, and how we can understand. The Bayam Tuna Vitrupyam Uttama Sloka Vikrama Jasrunatam Rasajjanam Swadu Swadu Pade Pade. He is inclined. But our case, we are listening every day, but we are watching to watch when the time will finish, 9 o'clock. The other devotees like Sanaka Adi and Parikshit, they said we are completely satisfied and we are inclined to listen more and more. But why it is not effect for us? What is the cause?
We must be very simply straightforward. Okay, he is asking Sadhu Sadhu Pade Pade, he quote the shloka from Bhagavatam, that we want to repeatedly hear is mentioned because the taste for Krishna consciousness is there. But why we are not doing that? We are watching the time when Prasadam time is coming, etc. And we are not interested in again and again hearing. That's the question. So I am saying that we have to accept the fact that we have not yet got taste. So we have to pray to get taste in chanting the holy name, in developing our desire to hear about Krishna. What to do? That may be our condition. So we have to endeavor more, be more mindful, more conscious of Krishna. We can hear and hear and hear, but we should do quality hearing. Then when you hear more and more, you want to hear more. When you do quality hearing, you want to do more quality hearing. When you don't do quality hearing, you don't want to hear anymore. That's the difference between Dundukari's hearing and the rest of the people hearing. Quality. When you are materially thoroughly distressed, then you can do quality hearing in the material world. But a pure devotee of the Lord can hear and hear and hear, not because he is materially distressed, but he has got a taste for Krishna consciousness. So in the material world, when we are miserable, we may want to hear. If you are not miserable, we will sleep, or we will wait for the watch to come to the correct dial, to come to the correct position. persons who have got a taste, they can hear. Parikshit Maharaj sat down and heard without food, water, anything for 7 days. And he was keeping on asking him questions. And Sukadeva Goswami was excited to answer. Because there's no question thinking about anything, food, water, nothing. So absorbed. So it is possible to do that. But as we are so much affected by the modes, we have to go and engage ourselves according to the modes affecting us in devotional service. So we are doing limited way. If somebody stays in the temple and says, "No, Prabhu, President Prabhu, I want to hear again and again," it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, 24 hours I must do that. So Prabhupada said, go to Mayapur and chant 64 rounds. Go sit there and chant 64 rounds, eat little bit khichdi. He has provided place for that type of people also. And then immediately they say, no, I'll stay here and do seva. That is the other alternative. If you really want to chant and to sing, in a letter he has written, eating, sleeping devotees need not stay in Calcutta, they can go to Mayapur. They can chant and they can do what they want. So Prabhupada has set up the society in a particular way. We do that, and by engaging in Krishna consciousness, we will be substituting quite a bit of that activity. And as we grow older, maybe you can chant more, read more, stay in a place more, and take a different role. But right now, we should work for spreading Krishna consciousness with some basic sadhana. Om Tat Sat Srila Prabhupada Ki. I have to go, so I'm very sorry. I'll see you again. I like to be in Delhi temple very much. It is my favorite temple. Hari Bol. Shri Shri Radha Partha Sarati Ki.
Joy.